Have you ever heard me refer to semi-detached homes in Calgary as a roller coaster? Well, in this chart here, you can see just that. May 2022, we saw some highs of 585,000. We saw a decrease because of the higher interest rates, a small bounce over the holiday season, and then in February 2023, an increase back up to 570,000. What's going on? Let's go find out. Hi, my name's Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking to make a plan in 2023, maybe put a strategy together, go ahead and book a link. It's the very first link in the description, and book a call with me. I promise I'm pretty easy to talk to. So let's start this off by looking at the year-to-date stats package for semi-detached homes in all of Calgary. You can see a small uptick in sales, 140. You can see new listings actually uptick nicely to 193. Inventory increased to 255, and then days on market actually decreased to 36 days. Now, from looking at this, there's really nothing significant about it in my personal opinion. It is nice to see sales tick back up to about Q3, Q4 levels of last year. New listings had a nice increase as well, going all the way back to about September, October. Inventory is increased, which is also great to see, and then days on market is decreasing to about 36 days. All that being said, there is a lot of demand in Calgary currently, so the price actually increased by about $9,000 from last month. Now, that's a pretty big increase for kind of these small numbers that we're seeing for detached homes or semi-detached homes in all of Calgary. So let's dive into it. Now, before we talk about the individual communities, I wanted to bring this chart back just to talk about it just a little bit. You can see that the sales and the inventory, the green and blue bars, have relatively been within the same kind of gap over November, December, January, February. You can see that there was a little bump over the holiday season, but then a massive increase. So what that tells me is that there is a little bit of pent-up demand. Obviously, people are not really excited to make moves over the holiday season, and January, February typically, historically, also see a bump in price. Now, $9,000 in 1 month is a pretty big increase, so there has to be a little bit more of an underlying issue, or not an issue, sorry, but an underlying community or quadrant that's really driving that price up. So let's go and look at that. So with that being said, here's each individual quadrant of Calgary. Now, on the left, you can see the sales to new listing ratios. In City Center is actually a very small ratio. 32 sales to 73 new listings, so it's only 43%. You can see that North, Northwest, and West all sell about 100% or over, and then some of the other communities hovering around 70% on average. Now, I do want to point out that these are very small numbers. As an example, 15 sales in Calgary North over 10 new listings for all of Calgary North. Now, Calgary North is huge. I don't know if you've been able to drive around it, but it's pretty massive. All these quadrants are pretty massive for the most part. So it is very important to realize that when looking at these percentages, because such small numbers can easily sway how those percentages look. So moving along, we see months of supply. Now, City Center is actually really close to 4 months, which is clearly a buyer's market. Being $800,000 for a semi-detached home is quite high. Not a lot of people can afford that. And who would want to buy a semi-detached home for $800,000? You can buy a really nice detached home in pretty much every other quadrant of Calgary. So clearly it's going to struggle a lot more than other product types in Calgary until that price falls a little bit, which is very unlikely because there's a lot of $1 million semi-detached homes in City Center, which are quite nice. You can look at every other quadrant, you get down to the, high twos in East Calgary, or kind of the average point about $500,000 when you start to break it all down. Calgary West is the second closest at $677,000. Now, when we look at the year-over-year percentage increases, we're all in the positives and no double digits, where other property types are still seeing some double-digit growth. Calgary North and looks like Calgary South are the highest, around 6%. Now, moving along, you can see the month-over-month percentages. These are interesting. And on the far right, I've actually put in the price points. Now, clearly, you can see that Calgary South saw a $26,000 increase from last month, which is easily bringing that $9,000 increase month over month for the whole quadrant, or for the whole property type itself. So you can see on average there was about a $9,000 increase, but the $26,000 is easily pulling that up as high as it can. Calgary East did see a $2,700 increase, which is quite small for something only worth $300,000, but every other quadrant is around $9,000. Now next, this graph is super important for people getting into the market. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Looking at the price point and the activity of that price point can really dictate just how aggressive the negotiation process is going to be. Now you can see that the $700,000 to $900,000 price point is quite busy, but you do have to remember that that's $300,000 columns morphed into one. If you broke those down, you could see that the $400,000 to $500,000 price point is the most popular, where it looks like the $7 and $1 million price point is. Now, if you look at last year, you can see that the yellow bar easily outweighed every single price point, even under $200,000. There was just way more activity last year than there is this year. So that means that obviously it's slowing down, but there's still demand in Calgary. So let's dive into it a little bit more. This is the year-to-date sales. Now you can see that the year-to-date sales so far is below the average. You can see that we're actually in between 2015 and 20, which was more of a recession for Calgary. So it's kind of interesting to see semi-detached homes be that low. I've seen new listings below 10-year average, but this is the first time I've seen sales below it. You can see that 2013, 14, 21, and 22 were all greatly above, and 2023 is low. Now, when we look at the new listings, this is very interesting. You can see that this is the lowest new listings that we've seen in the past 10 years ever. So 2017 and 21 were also very low, whereas last year there was actually a lot more inventory on the market. So this, coupled with the sales, makes sense to me of why the price is increasing, because the lack of new listings on the market is causing greater demand. Now we're going to end it with this price change chart, and just for visual purposes, you can see that 2018 to 21, it was actually 3 years of decrease. 2021 was a year of increase. 2022 was also a year of increase, but you can see the correction from the higher price point, or sorry, the higher interest rate. And then 2023, where's it going to end up? I have no idea. It is such a crazy property type to report on. There's a lot of uncertainties in the market right now, so it will be very interesting to see if it kind of tapers out because of those, $400,000, $500,000 price points, or is the $800,000 to $900,000 price points or $1 million price points going to drive that market. So it's going to be very interesting to watch the sales per price point to try to dictate where this might actually end up. So make sure to subscribe. If you want more personalized information, go ahead and book a call. It's the very first link in your description. Thank you very much for watching the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.